Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Your Time to Shine, a radio show designed to help you explore your own divine gifts. Good evening. Welcome to the middle of March. I can't believe that we are already into spring. Technically, not spring for another week or so, but it feels like it here in the Pacific Northwest. We've had a lot of sun, and you know, even me, I'm feeling spring fever when we get days like this where there's 2, 3, 4 days in a row with sun. It's like, oh, you get all excited, and then boom, the rain hits the week after, and it's back to cold, wet, sometimes gloomy weather. But right now, I'm going to take it because I really can use a dose of sunshine right now. And it's really funny. There are people and they're like, "Yep, I'm taking today and tomorrow off. I'm making a long weekend because it's sunny." So everybody's headed to the beach, right? When it's sunny here in the Pacific Northwest, everybody heads to the beach. Everyone heads to the ocean. So, which I would love to do myself, but I know that everybody else is going to be there. So I'm going to wait. Wait one more week or maybe a couple of weeks before I do that. So I hope that you are doing well this evening and thank you so much for joining the show. I want to talk to you about being in awareness of the signs of spirit and loved ones and angels and guides and being in that awareness. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, sure, I'm in awareness, but how do I become even more aware of my surroundings so that I can see the messages more clearly? So, something that you can do, number one, you know, as I've said in the past, it's about slowing down, right? Clearing your mind, quieting your mind to be able to recognize those messages because our brains are processing and computing so quickly on a daily basis. And that, as you know, as technology evolves, we are more and more functioning at a very high level. And, our brains are moving constantly, they're not shutting off and we are trying to do everything at the speed of sound and speed of light. So everything is just faster. So it's a matter of slowing down and just taking a breath. So some good exercises that you can do to kind of bring you into that awareness and being more aware of your surroundings is really important. And so these are just a couple of techniques that you can do to kind of slow your mind a little bit, right? So, if after dinner you're at the sink and you're washing dishes, right? Just completely bring your focus into washing dishes, right? How hot is the water? What does the sponge or the wash rag that you're using on your dishes, what does it feel like against your hands, against your skin? How does the soap feel, right? How does the glass feel against your skin, right? What does it smell like? What does your dish soap smell like? What's the sound of the water, you know, rushing over the glasses as you are rinsing them and putting them in the dish drainer? So, a lot of these things are just slowing your brain down and bringing you into that focus, right? Another thing is books. I do like to read. I just haven't been able to switch over to, a Kindle or my phone or something like that. I've got to feel the pages of the book, the weight of the book. So if you are one of those that loves to read, concentrate on that. What does that book feel like in your hands? Is it light? Is it heavy? What do the pages feel like? Are the pages of the book very thin? The paper very thin? Or is it a thick type of paper? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Does the book have a smell, right? Do the pages have a smell? And what does it sound like when you turn the page in the book? So it's about bringing all of your senses, all of your awareness to that, right? Now, if you want to get even more involved and bring in the tasting aspect of it, right? As you're cooking food or you're baking your favorite cookies, right? What are the smells? What are the sounds? What does it taste like? And as you begin to develop a lot of these senses and really put those senses out there, making them very, very useful, then it opens things up to more, right? Maybe you will catch the whiff of a certain perfume and you think, wow, that was a perfume that my smells like a perfume my mom used to wear, right? Or if you taste something, wow, this brings me back to when I'm sitting in Aunt Sarah's kitchen and we're having a conversation because she always served this when we were having those conversations, right? So it's those types of things. It's really bringing in your senses to be on alert so that you can be in that awareness to hearing and seeing what your loved ones are bringing through. The questions that you're asking, right? They're coming through. And so a lot of our senses are based on, we have a lot of the heightened senses. So probably the hearing and the sight are probably our most highly used senses, right? Then comes taste and hearing and smelling, right? But you always have a couple that rise to the top. So those are great, but try using the other senses that you don't utilize as much, right? And each one of us, it's different. So as you become more and more in awareness of those senses and being in awareness of what is directly in front of you at the moment, then you can start diving in and then you can start bringing in more and more awareness and you can train yourself, train your brain to slow down and notice those awarenesses. And then that's when the messages really start coming through. So try it. They're really fantastic exercises to do. And it calms the brain down a little bit, almost into a meditative type of state where you can relax the body, relax the mind, and then more information will come in. Maybe that question that you were trying to figure out all day at work today and you just couldn't figure out what it is. When you're doing something like that, those are the times that it comes into play. How many of you have gone out to walk the dog and you're out in nature and all of a sudden you go, "Oh my gosh, I know how to solve that problem." It's taken me it's taken me 2 weeks to figure out how to solve that problem. It's the same thing. It's about slowing your mind down so that the answers can come in and that you can be shown what those answers are. So use some of these techniques. They might be a little cumbersome at first because it's not probably in the norm for you to slow down enough to do some of these things, to really recognize these things. So be patient with yourself as you're doing these because it will become easier and easier. And as you start to slow your brain down, like I said, it's like a meditative state. And then you can be more calm during your days and you'll sleep better. So, try some of these techniques and see how they work for you, and then see if more messages come in for you or more answers that you've been searching for, because I bet they will. All right, perfect. We are going to head to the phone lines right now. We have a caller waiting. We have Rachel in East Peoria, Illinois. Good evening, Rachel, and welcome to Your Time to Shine.
Hi, thank you.
How are you this evening?
How, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What can I do for you this evening?
I'm just, I guess I've reached a lot of goals that I put for myself, and I'm trying to figure out what the next step is because I want to keep challenging myself and making goals and hitting them. Um, Kind of considering starting a business and a little scared.
Yeah, starting a business, that's a big thing, right? That can be a big scary thing for a lot of us is just making that decision, right? Can be the first step. And that's sometimes the biggest hurdle is just to make the decision to do it. Um, so would you like to see what is a next step for your business, or you're just wanting to look at what your next step is in general?
In general.
Okay. Okay. Let me just take a moment here to tune in and see what I come up with, and then check in with your loved ones, and then I will be right back with you. So there's just going to be a little moment of silence as I do that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Rachel. So, um, what what spirit is showing me right now is that it's very clear. Like they showed me your check off list, right? And it's like check, 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 check. You've been very, very diligent in your processes to get things done. And not only just to get things done, um, but it's like it's the priorities in your life to move you forward and to move you ahead. And so, what they're showing me right now is that because you've done all these checks and balances, is what they're saying, it is like the next step is to take a look at starting a business. What they're showing me is that you need to sit down and kind of like make a platform for this and make an outline of what it is that what that looks like for you, right? What that business piece of it looks like for you. Um, they're showing me that you have a couple of things that you're looking at, but it's almost like you're kind of going back and forth a little bit. Well, is it this one for me or is that for me? So now that you have all these things that you've kind of finished, you can really sit down and really focus in on what it is that you would like to accomplish, right? Um, the biggest thing they're showing me is if you're looking at starting a business, is like the outcome, right? What is your outcome for that business? What do you want to see it do? Not only for your customers, but for you, because you have to be that forefront person. Because there's got to be they're showing me it's got to be more than just being able to be in service to a customer. You have to be able to be in service to yourself. Does that make sense?
I have a good career now. I make good money, but my desire to be my own boss, set my own hours, live life on my terms, kind of thing, is where I'm at now. I'm older. I've been punching a time clock for years, and I just feel like I need a little bit more freedom in my life.
Perfect. There you go. That's exactly it, right? It's about
Yep.
being in service to yourself. And those are the types of things um that they're pointing out and they're showing you. Yes, you have to do all those things. to kind of put yourself first. And it's interesting because when people think about starting a business, they're outside of themselves, right? And sometimes you have
Right.
to look within yourself and say, well, what is it that I need out of this business as well? Because that's equally as important as what's outside. Um, so they're showing me kind that you're going back and forth between a couple scenarios and a couple thoughts for a business. And
Uh, Go ahead. I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I am just, I mean, there's one main thing, and then there's a couple of things that I could add into there, and I'm not sure how to fit that all together.
Okay. What I keep hearing is keep it simple.
Okay.
Um, so right now, keep it simple. Get something going and get it off the ground, and then start bringing in, other options. Um, if if what you are trying to bring in right now seems to be a struggle, like you can't quite make the puzzle piece work, it's because it's not the right time to do that. Um,
Okay.
So they're basically saying, yes, those things are great and they will come, but they're saying to get started, don't make it too complicated for yourself. Just start with what you know and what you do best, right? Because out of that will come other things. You will run into a client and they're like, wow, I wish you offered this, or have you thought about that? Or did you know I went to someone who did something similar and they did this, right? And it's
Right.
you're gonna automatically just draw off of these things and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I need to do, right?
Yep.
It's gonna come really easily. So they're saying don't try to fit they're saying don't try to fit a round peg in a square hole, because
Okay.
that's kind of what you're trying to do right now. Keep it
Right.
simple. Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank
keep it
you.
simple. Yeah, you're very welcome. Exciting stuff.
Right. I've just been
Yes.
kind of on the fence about it, and you know, I've got to sit down and put all my thoughts together. I just like you said, I gotta get me an outline going. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, what they're showing me the biggest thing for you is to be number one, they're saying be truthful to yourself when you're doing the outline, right? Be really honest with yourself about what this looks like. Um, they're saying that you're an amazing manifester and you can make just about anything happen, right? So make sure that when you're doing this, that it really is what you want it to be,
Okay.
because you may manifest something and you think, oh, I really didn't want that, because
You know, and
we can manifest the good stuff and the bad stuff. So
right. But with the business, not only is it for me, I want to offer services that are going to help people and be healthy for them, healthier options than out
yes.
there.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the whole reason why you want to do this, right? And I
Yes.
know I'm they're showing me to focus on you a lot, but yes, of course, the whole reason you're doing this, right, is to help others, obviously. But
Yes.
they're really encouraging you to not forget about yourself in the process.
Yes.
And
I mean,
and
it's
they're
all tied
saying,
together.
yeah, absolutely. And they're saying that whatever you do, make sure you walk the walk and talk the talk, right? Be
Yes.
that authentic person, right?
Yes. I get
Yeah,
that because I slack myself with, you know, the healthy habits.
right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that is fantastic. The best of luck to you, Rachel. I know you're going to do great.
Well, thank you so much for everything.
You're so welcome. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Cheyenne. Oh, Cheyenne. I'm so sorry. I said that
Diane.
wrong. Cheyenne in Omaha, Nebraska. Hello, Cheyenne. How are you?
Hello. Good, how are
How
you?
are good. What can I do for you this evening?
What kind of readings do you do?
I do I bring through loved ones and spirits and guides. Um, just whatever questions you have, or if you want just a general reading about something, I can do that too.
Whatever I need to hear right now, or if you can bring through any of my loved ones. So,
Okay. So let's see what they have for you this evening. I'm just going to take a minute here to tune in, and then there'll be a little moment of silence, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Um, Cheyenne, I'm seeing a lot of celebrating on the other side. They're celebrating you and some big accomplishments. Um, they're wanting you to know that they're so proud of you. But I just keep seeing like all these balloons going up and dancing and a lot of a lot of praise, a lot of great job, you did a good job, um, a lot of hard work put in. So um, that's one of the first things that they want you to know. Um,
thank you.
what are we celebrating? That's what I want to
You
know.
know, I don't know. I mean, I had a hard time a couple years ago that I made it through, I guess, but
Good. Okay.
that's a little more
All
on the
right.
personal side of things. So,
Yeah. So yeah, they're celebrating. They want you to recognize the celebration as well, right? Uh, they're showing me that a lot of times you get through this and you're like, oh gosh, okay, I got through that. But you don't really take the time to say, wow, and reflect on it and say, wow, look at what I did, right? I think
right.
that can be for a lot of people, but in particularly you. It's like you're like, okay, well, that's great. Now I'm on to the next thing, right? I'm on to the next problem.
Mhm.
I'm on to the next great adventure, whatever that is. And they're asking you to slow down and really, really take stock and take a look at what you've accomplished because you have done some really great and amazing things. And you don't give yourself enough credit for that. So they're saying,
That's true.
hey, take take a minute, let's celebrate, right? Um, they're even showing, they're even showing me like go out and have a fantastic dessert, right? And say, wow, I deserve this because look at what I did, right? So just something to commemorate all the successes that you've had. They're showing me that they're little successes. And so in your book, they don't really add up. They don't even really count as a success, right?
Right.
You're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, right, whatever, that happened." Right? But they're
Mhm.
saying, "No, stop, recognize it, and say, wow, wow, okay. Yep, it was a little one, but boy, it was a success, right? And add that. Add that to your little list of successes. And then at the next one go, "Yep, I that's it." Because they're saying all these little successes are little bitty steps forward, right? And sometimes you don't
Right.
recognize them unless you are leaping like a frog forward. Like they're literally showing me this frog leaping forward. Um,
I feel like I'm waiting
so
for that leap.
yes, exactly. And so they're saying, don't measure life on those leaps. Measure your life. on the baby steps because those are the important ones. And the reason they're important is because you took the step, right? It is about
Right.
taking that first step and saying, "Yep, okay, here we go. I'm going to do this." Um, so it's about taking those steps and then recognizing them.
Um, yeah, I know I'm needing a change in the job career field. So if there's anything that comes through on that,
So what I'm getting on that is it's about again taking that step, taking that first step. Um, because I'm seeing some hesitation. They're showing me that you're hesitating and you're not really sure about that. So they're saying that you
mostly
can do,
schedule conflict.
yeah, they're saying you can do that, right? But it's a matter of sitting down and getting clear with yourself and saying, is this really right for me? Right? And having those hard conversations with yourself and feeling into it and saying, okay, if I were to take this new position, if I were to change course and do something completely different, how am I going to feel in a year? Right? You're going to get a sense. It's like your soul is going to tell you, right? And if it feels really good, if you get this tingling feeling, you get this light feeling, you think, "Ooh, that sounds kind of nice," then make the step forward and take the step and move towards that goal. Does that make sense?
It does. I just have no idea what I want to do yet. So
Okay.
I just
Yeah, they're saying
know
they're
I need to
saying to
change.
yep, they're saying to sit down and kind of write some things out or, what would it be if you could do anything in the world? If you could do anything or be anything, what would that be? Right? And write things down that come to mind. And then go back and analyze them later and see which ones still stick. Okay. That's what they're
Okay.
showing me for steps for you. So, and Cheyenne, we're coming down to the last couple seconds of our show. So I'm going to have to say goodnight. And I want to say thank you so much for calling in and hope that this has been helpful for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that does it for me, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead. If you would like to have a one on one session with me, either healing or a reading, please reach out to me on my website at Julie YeagerWalker, or excuse me, wingsofsoulswithjulie.com. Wow, maybe I'll be changing my name. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you next week.